Mohini Jain versus State of Karnataka, 1989. The judgment. The dignity of a man is inviolable. It is education which brings forth the dignity of a man. It is the duty of the state to respect and protect the same. For this, the framers of the constitutions brought Articles 41 and 45 in Chapter 4 of the Constitution. The Supreme Court observed that without making right to education under Article 41 of the Constitution a reality, the fundamental rights under Chapter 3 shall remain beyond the reach of the large majority which is illiterate. Based on this reasoning, the Supreme Court held that the right to education is concomitant to the fundamental rights enshrined under Part 3 of the Constitution. The court observed that the right to life is the expression for all those rights which the court must enforce because they are basic to the dignified enjoyment of life. The right to education flows directly from the right to life. Charging capitation fee in consideration of admission to educational institutions amount to a denial of a citizen's right to education. So, the state government is under an obligation to make an endeavor to provide educational facilities at all levels to its citizens. Capitation fee makes the availability of education beyond the reach of the poor. It brings out a clear class bias. So, the court held that the capitation fee to be charged by state-recognized educational institutions is wholly arbitrary and as such violative of Article 14. The court observed that the Karnataka Educational Institutions Prohibition of Capitation Fee Act 1984 was brought with the objective of curbing the evil practice of collecting capitation fee for admitting students into the educational institutions in Karnataka. The court observed that if the state government fixes 2,000 rupees per annum as the tuition fee in government colleges and for the government seats in private medical colleges, then it is the responsibility of the state to see that any private college recognized by the government is prohibited from charging more than rupees 2,000 from any student who may be a resident of any part of India. The court held that charging capitation fee by the private educational institutions as a consideration for admission is wholly illegal and cannot be permitted. The court set aside the notification dated 5 June 1989 on the grounds that it goes beyond the scope of the Act and contrary to Section 3 of the Act. It held that it is not permissible in law for any educational institution to charge capitation fee as a consideration for admission. Importance. The right to education was declared as a fundamental right. The judgment reminded the state of its constitutional obligation to provide educational institutions at all levels for the benefit of the citizens. The judgment brought equality in access to education. Capitation fee is nothing but a price for selling education. By holding that charging of capitation fee as unconstitutional, the court prevented, at least theoretically, the educational institutions from becoming teaching shops. Impact. Prior to the judgment, the right to education was not a fundamental right. The Parliament in 2002 passed the Constitution 86th Amendment Act of 2002. It added Article 21A to the Constitution and expressly recognized the right to education as fundamental right in the Constitution.